All right.
Good.
Good evening. It's evening, right?
Yes, close enough.
It's been a long, tiring day.
Yeah.
Show your hands. How dirty they are.
Yeah.
All right. We'll try to take some questions and we'll talk a little bit about this job that we got going on here on their 4106. If you've not subscribed to their channel yet, make sure that you do. We'll mention it a few times, but beginning from this morning. Oh, you have to turn your volume down. That'll be very annoying. Hello, everybody. We got Michigan. Hey, there's Brandon, Dirk. We got 48 people right now, so we'll give a couple more seconds here.
Santan Valley's right up the road.
Oh.
Yep.
So, yeah, this bus, we're pretty involved in it right now, huh?
Yeah, very.
There's Tyler. Tyler's on there now. Yeah, so Juan had been trying to get a hold of me to get me to come out here for a couple years. And had you tried to find some other shops to work on it? Or
we did just briefly look just to get stuff checked out, and we didn't have much success with finding people to work on it. So
it was a cold day today. I don't know that it ever. You said it was 50 something, right? But
52, I believe.
52.
That's in the sun. Yeah, we were not in the sun. So
When you're ready for questions.
It was a long underwear kind of day. Yeah, if you have any questions, if you type them in all caps, that's going to make it much easier to stand out for Kelly.
Only questions.
Only questions in all caps. Yeah, don't have a conversation back and forth in all caps because that's very annoying.
Someone's already saying don't forget to ask about the lights. I know they were asking about the headlights.
Oh yeah, I haven't asked you about your headlights, but those are really cool. I want to find out what's up with those. If you haven't checked out their channel yet, do that because he really goes in depth on his battery situation and his solar panels and pretty much everything they've done to the bus so far. Except for install a rear mud flap.
Right. No, that's not on there. You won't find that anywhere on there.
That's an inside joke. Okay. Today, I don't know that we really found any major issues. We replaced a bunch of hoses. You'll see the video later on tonight. One issue with the brake, another bushing is worn on the brake that we're gonna have to replace, and pretty much everything is shipped already from Luke at US Coach. I think that's about it. Yeah, so you'll see all the progress and stuff that we did today. So yeah, we can go ahead and start taking some questions.
Well, they were asking about the lights.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and explain about them.
Okay, so we originally had just the regular halogen bulbs that were in there, and when we first got the bus and drove it at night, it was almost like a nice little glow in front of the bus. They didn't put out a ton of light, and so we started looking around for how could we upgrade those. And there was a few things that we wanted to make sure. We wanted to make sure they were DOT approved and that they didn't blind people. So what we looked for was a nice beam that would come across. And so what we ended up with stock in there, I think, is 5 3/4. Is that right?
7.
Yeah,
mine's 7. So
we ended up with 7-inch
maybe
lights.
4106 might be different.
Yeah, so we ended up with 7-inch lights. So we had to we have a video on it, but we had to go in and modify the housings a little bit and then get custom rings for the outside. They're actually Harley lights.
Okay.
And so they're called they're the Chinese version of the daylighters or something like that. And so they're pretty bright. So we tested them outside. In the video, we kind of show we tested a few different ones to make sure that the pattern was correct and things like that. And we actually did a amp meter on how much power they drew and stuff like that. So all that stuff's in the video. If you're super interested, there's a couple videos on how we did all the lights, how we modified the housings and things like that. And they've performed awesome. So we've driven at night several times, and we've not had a single issue with being able to see. They definitely light up the entire road. So.
I have LEDs that I put on mine.
Yep.
And night and day difference from. I mean, my old lights really put the candle watt rating in the halogen.
Yeah, candle. Yeah, that's how our old ones were.
But I'm not so worried about blinding people. I think maybe I do blind people a little bit.
Yeah. You were behind us, and it wasn't so bad.
Okay,
yeah, so,
good.
Yep.
All right, we have another question, Ken?
How many miles does this bus have on it?
Oh, probably over 1 million.
For sure over 1 million. It was a Trailways bus, right?
Yep, it was
so,
out of DC.
Yeah, there's no way it doesn't have less than 1 million, but it's probably closer to 2 would be my guess.
Yeah.
What caused the damage on the brake drums?
The leaky
Oh,
seals.
overheating for one. So probably the rear brake, the S cam wore out over time, and then that right rear brake wasn't working really good at all. So that made the other brakes have to work a lot harder. And then I think that's why the front brakes were doing so much more braking and got overheated and cracked and everything so much. So just, yeah. And then time and probably somebody coming down mountains too fast. It's very tempting to go 80 miles an hour down a mountain, but you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So he's got the Jakes, and but the Jakes haven't always been on there, so we don't know how old those drums are, when that's from. We don't have any kind of service record on that stuff, do we? I don't think.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, we don't have any of that.
Scott, are you able to get your hands clean?
Nope.
Only if you have a week off?
Yeah, it takes about a week.
Is the starter sounding better today?
My pinky's kind of clean right now. Is what now?
The starter sounding better today.
Was there a problem with your starter?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't know what that's about.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have any problems with this starter.
Okay. How are your batteries?
Mine?
I'm assuming yours.
My batteries are toast. So they're not good at all. So we have new batteries coming. I think they shipped today from Battleborn.
Mm-hmm.
So they are kind of plug and play lithium ion. So whereas he went the route of building everything himself, I'm not really that good of a electrician-isk, and I didn't really have the time to do it either. So I really kind of went the easier route with this. I'm really excited to get them. I can't wait to get them. We're gonna have to change a few things around, but the install we should have, maybe later this week or the first part of next week, we'll get that done in there, and then I'll be really happy. But yeah, however, the whole time we've been here, I've just been plugged into his bus.
Yep.
So there's no electricity out here on the property, but his bus everything's powered by the sun. So with that monster solar panels and with his big battery, we've been able to do anything, run our water heater, cooking, everything right off of his, and not even really affected. He's back up to full today.
Yep.
We had a really cloudy day yesterday.
Yep. We dragged him down to, I think, 60%, was that right?
Yeah.
So we were
62,
down to 60%,
I think it was this morning.
Yeah, after one pretty bad cloudy day. And then we're back up. We're at 100% today at about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, and he plugged in and ran his block warmer on his engine for maybe an hour earlier too, and it came back up after that, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So we should be close to hitting 100 again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How many stains have you left on that new concrete?
Oh shit. We should have a drawing at the end, like guess the number of jelly beans in the jar.
yeah. How many stains?
Except I don't want to count. So.
Yeah. So we're gonna power wash it when
It's
it's brand new concrete. So we're gonna try to power wash
You've
it.
been good about all the
Yeah,
cardboard
we've
now.
tried our best.
There's clumps of dirt and grease that fall off this thing everywhere.
Yeah.
Who did you get to paint that bus? It looks good.
Yeah, we have a video on that. We actually got it painted in Mexico, and it took us a while. That was actually an adventure. We took it down there, and they wouldn't allow us in. So believe it or not, we couldn't get into Mexico. So there was a whole thing on that. So we literally drove it there, literally drove it right back. And so that was a day. And then we had called the painter, and he knew someone who worked at the immigration place, and said, hey, if you do these things, if you put a bed in the back and you put a toilet in and a curtain that kind of looks like a shower and throw a couch in there, we'll call it an RV this time and it won't be a commercial bus. So we did all those things, and they still hassled us, but we got in and we got it painted. We got it painted down there, and we're very happy with the paint. It's held up really well, and they used very high quality paint. We saw the invoice on the actual paint, and just the paint by itself was almost $3,000. So,
wow.
Yep. So we're pretty happy with it. We hope it'll stay shiny and look good for a while.
Never heard of anybody not getting into Mexico.
Right. Yeah, we hadn't either. Getting out
Yeah.
is sometimes a concern, but yes.
How many miles are on Lenny?
Many millions. Yeah. Joe said by the look of the governor, he thought that's probably a 4 million mile engine on it. But I would say for sure he's got 2 million miles on him. That's a given.
How did the inside turn out? Haven't watched the channel in a while.
We're actually still building it, and so we've gotten to the point where we're starting to build cabinets and plumbing and more RV type things. And so we're in the part where it's like, okay, we're almost done. And so we are, so we're trying to finish that up. And Scott had an opening, and we said, you know what, we're gonna drop everything right now and get the mechanicals and everything looked at. That's always been part of the plan, is to get the mechanical stuff looked after to be sure that it's safe and road ready. We want to travel full time in it for at least a couple of years. And so that it's always been the plan to get it looked at, get it, you know, road ready and things like that. But since we didn't have anyone to really work on it, we started doing what we could do and finishing as much as we can. And so most of the major systems are done, electrical, plumbing, and a lot of the cabinetry has been built, and we've got a few more things to build, and then we should be ready to hit the road hopefully soonish. we refuse to give a date. We've missed so many that we've just stopped.
Okay, you guys already asked, they're asking how your batteries are working out, but obviously you already asked
Yep.
that. How many watts is the solar panels?
Yep, so we have 8 panels that are 435 watts each. They're commercial panels, and we built a custom rack that folds in and out. And so on the roof, we have about 3,480 watts. So it's
At what volts?
so the voltage is very high. It's around 170 volts. And so the amps, what that does is it keeps the amps nice and low so we can run a nice thin wire all the way down. And so the most amps we ever see coming out of the actual panels is about 25. And so when it's at full capacity, it'll obviously change that to 55 volts. We run a 48 volt system, and so it converts it from 170-ish volts to 55 volts and then puts that in the battery. So, so up to 85 amps will go into the battery, but coming out of the panels will only ever be about 20 to 25 amps.
Why did we not sit in the sun for this?
Oh, we should have. It's cold.
I'm looking at the sun over there.
Right.
We're in the shade.
I would love to see you sitting where you
I
were.
don't know what we were thinking.
What am I to
It's so much
question you?
warmer over there. I can
We'll
just
know
see
for
it.
the next time. Yep.
What does Juan do for a living?
I am a software engineer, so I program. I'm a computer nerd. I program computers, so not terribly exciting.
Power steering, was that what was noisy? Did the fluid change fix that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we just did that today. We just finished that a little while ago. I didn't actually shoot video of it, but yeah, it's much quieter.
Did you replace your charge controller?
I have not yet. I'm talking with him about what I should get.
Yeah, we started talking about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had a really cheap one that cost me a lot of money in the end, so I think I'm gonna not do that again.
Yeah, I have a really expensive one.
I was shocked how expensive the ones that he's like, well, let's try this one. And I looked at it. I was like, I think I paid $20 for mine. And he's got me
That's
looking
my
at one
fail.
that's like $500.
Right.
Do
Yep.
it right.
But
Yep.
it cost me $1,000 in batteries. So
Yep.
Hi Juan, have you posted a link to your LED headlights on your channel?
It should be in there. I guess we can put a link somewhere. I can respond
That's
in
why I
this
just told
post. Yep.
Michelle that if she
Yeah.
could get on there later and put a link in
Yeah, we'll put a link
under
to it.
the comments, that would be great.
Yep.
Do you have front turn signals on Lenny or just headlights and fog lights?
he's got turn signals. Yeah, they're little arrows. They got little eyebrow light things on them. They're really cool.
Yep. Yeah, I saw you turn them on when
Yep.
you turned in.
It's really hard to keep up with all the comments on here.
Yes.
So she
Yep.
just because
Yeah.
well, there's
Is there-
600 people watching right now.
Is there going to be a kegerator installed in there?
We're not big drinkers, so I doubt. And we have 4 kids.
So yes.
Sorry.
There's no plan for a kegerator right now.
Tyler will probably put one in his. What is the fuel mileage on most buses?
So on ours, we have a history on ours because we have a guy who kept very detailed records. And we have an automatic, which on these buses, that makes a huge difference. So on an automatic, it's going to drop like crazy. So we get between 6 and 8 miles to the gallon pretty typically. And that's what we've seen when we've done our own calculations on the bus. When we went to Mexico, we got about 7. And so that's, if you go to a manual transmission, that jumps from 6 to 7 to 8 to 10. So
Yeah.
I don't know what you get on Lenny.
I get close to 10 on the highway, but about 3 in the city. So I try not to drive in the city.
Wow, that's a big
Yeah,
difference.
it costs like $1 every stoplight. That's why I run red lights. Just teasing.
You don't know who's watching. Hey Scott, are you coming to North Carolina or Mobile, Pensacola area? I would like to join as a helper.
I don't think we're in Pensacola again this year. We were down there last year. North Carolina, we will definitely be out there beginning of March, I think, or end of March, something.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, our schedule got kind of thrown around a little bit for that. We'll figure it out. Stay tuned.
Are you coming to San Diego?
No. I know, Kelly said she loves San Diego.
San Diego's beautiful.
When will you be in the SoCal area?
I don't know. It's not on the radar at this point. I have a whole bunch of clients that want to get me there, but it's with the new property and stuff like that, it's going to be a while, I think, before I come back out this way again.
Which bus do you find is the easiest to source parts for?
They're all pretty easy. There's none that are super, because I know people like Luke at US Coach and places like that. There's nothing that's super hard that, you know, between like the GMs and the MCIs and Eagles and stuff like that. Well, pretty much so everything's available for that stuff.
How are things coming on the Nashville property?
We close in 2 weeks, I think, about a little over 2
Yeah.
weeks, 2.5 weeks.
So cool.
What did Scott do for a living before YouTube?
Photographer. I have a whole "How Did I Become Bus Grease Monkey" video that you should watch because you'll find it pretty entertaining, probably.
What is the status of Lenny's camera system?
It's working again. I don't know. We had an issue on the way. It's probably in that driving video that we said it wasn't working, and then it was working, and then it wasn't working, and then it was working. And I did nothing in between. Like the one night we just got to where we were at, it wasn't working, shut it off. The next morning it worked. Nothing was different. It wasn't raining or anything. The one right camera wasn't working, and then for some reason that was like knocking the whole system out. But then the right camera worked, and then
I think maybe something rattled loose or
nothing was loose. I took it apart, and nothing was
It
loose.
was after going down that bumpy.
Yeah, we did go those really
15-mile
bumpy,
road.
nasty
It wasn't
roads.
really a road.
But I don't think that did it. I don't think that did it because I couldn't get it. You know, I made sure everything was tight. I took apart every connection on it. I don't know. It's working though. Thank goodness.
Do you ever get tired of driving everywhere?
I don't. Do you?
I've never driven anywhere, so. We have yet to really use our bus.
How much would it cost to insure a bus like yours, roughly?
I pay. I think about. Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I pay. $500.
Something like that.
I think $500 over 6 months. Something like that. I don't know. What do you guys have for insurance on yours?
We have some. It's not a full-timers insurance.
Yeah, we don't have full timers yet. We
Yeah.
will once we get on the road.
So it's
right
really
now, we
cheap.
Just have liability
Yep.
basically on it, and it's cheap. It's like
$100 a
Who
year.
do you have it through?
Basically.
Yeah.
Progressive.
Progressive.
Okay.
Yep. And it is titled as an RV, and that makes a big difference a lot of times. So.
Why does my Allison 740 downshift hard with 8 V71 turbo with air throttle MC8?
That's a technical question. There could be a bunch of reasons for it. What fluid are you running in it? That would be one. And has it been serviced lately? Is the modulator working properly? Yeah, that's the two things that I would check. But I always recommend that you put a Transcend and or TES 295 equivalent synthetic fluid in it, and they really shift a lot nicer with that.
How fast were you going through Texas to Phoenix? 75?
I hit 78 at one point.
But probably 72?
I cruise about 72. Yeah.
Wow.
I got my governor cranked up on that.
Yeah, that's fast.
It's-
That's faster than us.
you know what? When I get to 70, 78, I'm like 88 miles an hour. I can time travel in this bitch. That's a whole nother. It's
That 78 was downhill.
yeah, it was downhill.
Oh, that's awesome.
What is Juan's channel? So go ahead and mention again.
Go ahead.
Oh, my channel's called Beginning from This Morning. It is, I think we have a YouTube and a Facebook page and a website. So generally when we do a video, we also do a blog post that kind of describes some of the details and some of the, you know, on a lot of the videos we're getting asked, like, what exactly did you use in that video? And so we just started posting exactly what we bought in a blog post with each video.
Oh, that'll be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did put links to, like, in yesterday's video and the day before's video, I believe I put links to their YouTube
to our
channel too. So
Yeah.
Juan, how does the mini split, I guess they're saying, work?
Yep. Yeah, the mini split's been great. The one thing we like about it is it's so quiet, and so obviously we're not using it right now because it's really cold. But we use it during the summer, and we just leave it on, and it's very quiet. And when it's over 100 degrees, maybe 103, 104. It's too hot. Like, we're in the wrong place. So it still cools the bus, but it'll only cool it to about 80 or so, and it won't. So it's not enough, and we're not fully insulated or fully built yet. So hopefully when we get fully insulated and fully built, it'll be able to handle. But honestly, we just plan to travel in a lot nicer weather. So, but it's been working great. So we're on 2.5 years or so with that thing in there, and we haven't had any problems yet with it. So
yeah, I plan on traveling in nice weather too, and here I am freezing my ass off right now.
Yeah.
What is the contact process info for upcoming projects?
That's a question for me.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, I don't. We have a whole video on how to schedule with us. I forgot what it's called. How to schedule, sir.
I think it's how to book bus
Or something like that. Yeah, just search for that in our channel. It's a whole video that'll tells you exactly what to do, how to email us, what to put in the subject line, that kind of stuff. So we figure out where you're at, and then put in there what kind of work you want to get done. And
if you have anything to talk about, go ahead. I have to go back now.
Okay.
I don't, other than my teeth are chattering.
Yeah, it's cold. Surprisingly cold here. And 2 days ago it was 78. So.
What RPM at 78? Oh, you just got a.
Oh, we got super chat. Why is coolant temp so important on the Detroits? Because you will crack your head at like anything over 205 usually, like between 205, 206. At 205 they run really, really good. 206 you're cracking your head. They're that temperature sensitive. So yeah, if you keep it under 200 or at below 200, you're not really going to risk that as long as you trust your gauges. But yeah, so normal operating temperature is like 180. I try to keep like 190, and then when it starts creeping up, I'm making changes so that I try to keep it away from that. But 200 is my personal threshold. Once I'm hitting 200, I have definitely changed my driving style or whatever's happening so that it will start coming down.
What RPM at 78?
Oh, that was fast. That I was probably like 2,800. Yeah, it was.
That's all you gotta say about that?
I built it. If it breaks, I know who's fixing it.
Yeah.
In your
Joe turned it up that fast.
In your driver's seat recap videos, there's a flashing LED. What is it?
Is that in?
Oh, what's behind me? That's just a clock that came with the bus that is always the wrong time. So.
Every time you turn the generator on, it resets itself.
Yeah, it's very annoying. I just haven't unhooked it. Lets me know my batteries still work.
Any idea what caused the stuck injector on your bus not long ago?
No, that was a new injector. I've never experienced that before on something like that. I don't think it's dirty fuel. It's something in the actual mechanism of the rack, the fuel control on it, and I can see some scrapes inside of it. It's under warranty. They're sending me a new one, and I won't. I should have it here in a couple days, or I'll swap it out. But yeah, I don't know, and I have no idea.
How did the waterlogged bus turn out?
I haven't heard back from him, but he was going to try to soak that in some other stuff and get it, see if he can get it to unseize the motor. I don't have real high hopes for it, but it's at least a kind of a Hail Mary shot. If it works, that's great. Because if it did work, that engine would probably run again.
What type of bus is behind you with the Miami Dolphin stripes?
That's a 4106, 1964. I never paid attention to Miami Dolphins
Yeah,
color.
we're not. That's just purely by chance. We're not Miami Dolphins fans. So,
How far out are you on scheduling?
It depends on where you're at. So if you're already on a route where I'm going to, I might be able to get you in. But otherwise, you're looking a year to 2 years probably.
What kind of camera system does Juan have on his bus?
oh yeah. So our system is just a security, like the kind you can buy at Costco. So we did a couple videos on that, and we use it for driving and for it's always on. It's always recording. And I use it as a driver's aid, so I have a little monitor up front that shows my blind spots, as well as both rear cameras, one that points down almost so you can see the ball hitch, and then another one that points back further like a rear view camera. And there is a way to mirror. We got a bunch of videos, a bunch of questions on those videos saying, can you mirror it so it actually behaves like a mirror? And we did. Yes, you can, and we did. And it was funny, we didn't know about that at first, and it was really hard to get your mind around, like, hey, things are backwards. And so once I did the flip and it was mirrored, it was just like looking in a rearview mirror. And they've been working great. It's the 8-channel NVR that's 4K cameras at Costco. So that's where we bought it.
You have a video on that, correct? Right?
Yeah, we have a couple of videos on how we selected it, what we thought the criteria was important, and then how we installed it. So yeah, we've got several videos on that.
How is the way to connect a tack to a 6V92?
Probably the easiest way is going to be off of your alternator. That's usually by far the easiest way to do it.
That's what we did. We have a video on that as well.
There you go.
So there's a video on ours on how you connect a tack to a 50DN Delco, and there's a pulse. It'll send out a pulse, and then you just program what that is.
Is it 60 pulses, or do you remember what, 58?
It was. I don't remember offhand.
Okay, I don't remember what it is either.
Yep.
Salvage yard near me has several 671 sitting by the fence. They look to be quite old but complete. What would a fair price range be?
It depends on how they're sealed up and everything. As a core, they're probably worth $500 maybe. Yeah, but if they're sitting outside, I'd be a little bit leery about it. Not more than $1,000 for sure.
Do you guys ever cook or grill outside your bus?
That's you.
We used to sometimes, but no, not really. Kelly has the sun in her eyes right now, but I don't feel bad for her at all because she's the
She's
sun.
warm.
My eyes are getting it. The rest of me are not.
there
My
you
hands
go.
are freezing.
Super chat. Sorry, Brother David. Blessings to Scott and VG and friends. Thank you, Brother David. Appreciate that.
Juan drives Lenny. That would be a great video.
I don't think I'd do well with the unsynchronized transmission. I've seen people try to drive when you haven't driven an unsynchronized transmission. It's not pretty. So ours is automatic. You just push on the gas.
Do you know how the manufacturer came up with the model numbers 4106? What does that notate?
The 41 was the number of seats that
Passengers,
it had, and then the 06 was just its model
series,
number. Yeah.
Lately, there have been many brake drums that are severely scarred and gouged. How common is this?
Normally we see some heat checking in them, but nothing like what I've seen on the last couple of buses. This one and then the Wonder Lodge were really bad. But other than that, I hadn't really seen that too much. It's just unusual that we've seen it twice so close together.
Did you shoot the 76mm gun in the Sherman tank?
I did not. I did not.
That would have been awesome.
I'm sure they would have let me do that if I would have asked, but
Sorry, it threw me to the end again.
that's okay. Hey, I have a thing. I'm working on my Spanish, right?
Oh, nice.
Do you know how to say hey Lance in Spanish? It's hey Juan.
Hey, Juan. We've had a few of those.
Oh, yay.
Oye, Juan. Yes, we've had a few.
When you get the okay for the land, your for buying, how long do you think before you're fixing buses? I assume on the property.
Yeah, we're gonna put a pad in, a couple pads probably right away. I think that's gonna happen pretty quick. And then, yeah, I've had some people offer to come and help us do some stuff on the property too. So if we have pads in, then they can come and stay there. But we got to find out what's gonna happen with the power first, if we're gonna have electricity there or not right away.
And enough time in our schedule.
And time, yeah, the schedule is crazy right now. We've had a couple other things come up that we have to fit in, and Bill's bus, the water pump blew out on it while he's going down the road, so we're putting a new engine in that bus for him. Super chat. Sorry. Hey Scott or
Another super
Juan
chat.
is going to be real happy with your work when you are done. Yes. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. He's taking it like a man so far.
Yeah,
He wants to get it done. He wants it to be right.
It's pricey, but
yeah.
I'm super thankful to have him out here and a pleasure to work with. So if you guys are thinking or on the fence, I would 100% recommend it. So
Thank you.
yep.
Oh, did we just
Yeah,
get
another
another
one.
super chat? From DG, always enjoy your videos. Thanks. Sierra Vista, Arizona. How far away is that? Is that far?
Yeah, Sierra
yeah.
Vista is about
Oh,
3 hours south.
Wow. Yeah.
About 3 hours south or so. Yeah.
Are you, can't even talk. Are you coming to the United Kingdom sometime?
Oh.
Yes, please. I want to go back.
Yes, please.
I loved it there. Yeah, and that'd be cool to hang out on some buses there too. Some old buses. That'd be really cool.
Again, time on our schedule.
Time on my schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will there be a rally at Blytheville this year?
I don't think so. They don't do it every year. But this year, I think the bus boys were going to do something, which I don't think has been announced yet. So I think they were going to do something this coming year. Otherwise, there is the flexible bus rally is this year. They do it every 2 years in Loudonville, Ohio. I'm going to see if I can make that on my schedule this year too. You don't have to have a flexible to go. They let anybody come.
Was a stuck injector on the same cylinder as a bent valve on the 4-valve head install?
No, it was not. It was his next door neighbor.
Do you have a full video on the solar and cost?
Yes. We have we've got about 11 videos on the solar on how we designed it. It was funny because we actually did a lot of the solar work when our bus was in Mexico. And what I did was I made a template of the roof, and then we just took and then I made a wood structure that was sort of like the roof. And then we made our best guess, and it was a pretty good one because it fit right in. We literally installed it in, I think in a day. So, but we have a whole playlist of how we selected our panels, how we tested them, how we have them tied together, how we wired them. Everything is on there. And same with the battery, how we selected a battery, how we pulled it out of the case, how we wired it all in, how we put the BMS on. We've got videos on all that stuff. So if you're a technical person, you should check those out.
We had a couple super chats come in during
cool.
that. We have Ice Hunter here. What has been the most challenging part on this job, and could the brakes in that condition have exploded? Challenging part. I don't think anything's really been that big of a challenge yet.
Well, you were
We
swinging
haven't-
that sledgehammer.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, the challenging part today was Marshall.
Yeah.
Marshall came
Marshall
out.
came, yeah.
Yeah, he came and volunteered today, and he drilled out those stupid screws that hold the drums to the hubs.
Yep.
That was his
We
job
didn't
today.
have to do that.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was avoiding that. So that was great. Marshall
Yep.
did wonderful on that.
Yep.
That's only
And then could the
29.
brakes have exploded? Well, the pads were coming, or the linings were coming apart on a couple of them. They were breaking and falling apart. They weren't making full contact on the right rear, so that wasn't working very well. Probably the more serious issue was those rear hubs that literally the wheels could have fallen off of the bus.
Yeah, he took them off by hand.
Yeah,
So.
and well, the one there was play in it.
Yep.
Once that little nub comes off of that ring, it's all
That's
done
it.
there. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was one more super chat that I just saw on here.
I didn't see another one.
Lord Winter, great channel. I love your buses and what you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Are you coming to Michigan this year?
I usually do.
I don't have anything on my list that you forwarded to me as of right now. I just went through all that yesterday and today.
Okay.
There's no one as of right now.
I think Dan and Jim are always kind of like standing. They want me to come, but I'll have to I'll send them a message and confirm that. But I'm pretty sure. Oh my God, I think it's got 10 degrees colder since we started
Yeah,
this.
it's getting colder.
How do you do this super chat thing? There's
There's like a dollar sign, I think. Yeah.
Underneath where
Yeah, you have to be logged
type.
in under your YouTube. Well, I guess you have to be.
Underneath where you could type your question, there's a dollar sign, and you click on that.
Yeah.
Juan, you're doing a great job. When do you plan to move in full time?
Oh, thank you. We've decided to stop giving dates. We will move in full time when we're done, and hopefully that'll be before summer. So that's our goal, to get it done before summer. And we do have most of the systems fully done, and so it's a matter of how pretty do we want it to look. At some point, it's never gonna be done. And that's one thing you'll hear about bus people is it's really never done. And we're kind of okay with that. So once we have enough to, hey, we can live in it, and we're close to that already. We did do a leak test. Yeah, it's cold. We did do a leak test on the water literally right before Scott came. And so he's cold. So hopefully by this summer we'll be traveling full time, and we plan to travel full time for a couple of years. So
Is that a former AC transit bus?
our bus,
Nope. No, it's what'd you say?
it's a Trailways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trailways?
Trailways.
Trailways out of DC, I believe. When somebody keeps track of all the numbers and they know where all the buses came from, and that's what they told us. So we're gonna go with that. See, I told you should have got the bunny costume. I told them that this morning.
Well,
So.
you know what? You can wear the bunny for the next one, and you can wear the Yeti. Still have the tags on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's cold enough for a bunny costume.
I nearly wore the bunny costume in the tank.
He talked about it.
Yeah, Kelly didn't think it was a very good idea. Otherwise,
I thought it would be funny. I didn't know that they would have appreciated it there.
Yeah.
They'd be like, I'm not letting this guy run my tank.
Yeah.
What's the history on Juan's bus? Where'd you find it and cost?
Okay. It's funny. We narrowed down that we wanted a 4106 or a 4104 relatively early because we wanted a 35-foot bus.
Or an
So
MC5. was
or an
another
MC5. We also looked at a few MC5As and I think a B. So so we had went and looked at a few 4106s. We couldn't get those to work, and so funny enough, a few weeks later, we found one in Apache Junction, which, if you know the Phoenix area, we live in Gilbert. Apache Junction is only about 20 miles away. And so we found one there, and the price was right. I think we bought it for $11,900. Is that right? So we bought it for $11,900. It had already been converted. It was a very old conversion. If you look through our videos, we do a tour of the before. And a lot of people were sad that, we took out the cowboy theme and all that, but we ripped everything out. We ended up, as we were taking it apart, the initial plan was take 6 months and just update it and just travel. And that turned into this. So we've spent a lot more than we thought we would. So we're somewhere around, I think, 40 or 50,000 into it, including buying the bus. So, and paint and solar and all that stuff. But we're pretty near complete. So in the end, I think it'll be somewhere between 50 and 60,000 that will be into it. So
I don't think that's bad
no.
for what you've done to it.
no,
Yeah.
I saw a super chat come by from Robert.
Robert.
But he didn't actually type anything. So if I see Robert type
Yep.
a question, I'm going to try to grab it out of there.
Yep.
Otherwise, just thank you very much, Robert. I appreciate that.
Okay, this would be for you then, Scott. Other than buses, photography, and traveling, what are your other hobbies or interests?
Tell them about the one wheel.
So I have a one wheel that I really like, and it's really fun, but it was a little bit hard to learn, and most people really can't do it like the first day. It takes a little bit of time. And this show off here just rubbed it in his daughter's face.
My poor daughter couldn't get up on it.
She was trying, and he stood on that thing and went, oh, whoop, he's gone. Oh, this is how you do it. He's doing circles, and I'm like, you're getting cocky, you're going to get hurt, but he never fell, he never did, he just did it perfectly.
We need a video video of that later. I know
Yeah,
you
you
took
took one, yeah.
Is she talking to you now? Or?
Oh no, she's a good sport. She's
Scott Cook is supposed to come by tonight. He's coming flying into Phoenix too. So Scott is the guy that has the 4106 in Oregon. When
Yep.
I dropped a valve, it was at his house.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Did the nice bus for sale for $20K with the 871 sell yet? The blue one with the pinstripes and airbrushing.
It sold in the first day, yes. And I put that as a pinned comment on that video that it had sold.
Yeah.
Where are you going to be Saturday?
Probably right here.
Yeah.
Hopefully warmer.
under
Yeah,
there,
the bus, yeah.
in that
Hopefully
hole
putting
right there.
things together. Yep. Yep. He did make me wear a helmet. Somebody asked if you wear helmets.
Oh, yes.
He made me
That's
wear a
super
helmet.
chat.
Yep.
Vanna, I don't know how you say that. I'm sorry. Thanks for all the Allison 40 advice. I'll get,
Luke at US Coach.
sorry, it's jumping out here. You get Lucid Coach and review with your recommendation with him. The owner notes also the mention before how you use the throttle can dictate how it downshifts. Yeah, that's why that modulator is important on there. Yours actually downshifted pretty hard once.
It did once
Yeah.
coming down.
Yeah.
The, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Into first. Yep.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the next question. It threw me to the end again.
No.
we have
What do you
1,000 people watching us right now.
Oh, that's crazy.
what do you have left to get done before you move in?
So on our bus?
Yes.
Okay, so what we have left. So we just finished plumbing the sink and the kitchen. And so we'll have to tidy all that up, finish that up. And then we have kids' bedrooms so that they can have a place to sleep. So we're going to do a quad bunk setup in the back. So we'll finish that up. And then we will do forward-facing seats in the center. And then a couple of couches. We'll redo her passenger seat. And then floors.
Your driver's seat. The
Oh,
passenger
and
seat's
my
fine.
driver's seat, floors and ceilings, and then we'll be done. So,
So nothing really
yeah,
hardly
really,
anything.
compared to
Oh,
what
shower.
we've done,
The
oh,
shower.
we've got to tile the shower.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had a super chat from David Peterson. What's the fastest you've had your bus at? Tyler was behind me one day, and I was doing 80. I
That's
believe
faster than
is
we've been, I
what he,
think.
yeah. Well, this bus though should that'll go. That should do. You should do.
Should do 80.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
do 88.
If it had the manual transmission in it,
Right.
it damn near do it. Yeah.
What did you use to soak those flathead screws that you had to drill out?
We used PB Blaster.
Yeah, and then
It
I
didn't
had
work.
some other stuff that I used too. Yeah, it doesn't work. Like
Yeah.
there's so much rust in there. We even tried the oxyacetylene torch on it first.
Yep.
We had them cherry red, and they still didn't want to play, so they got. You'll see it in the video, but yeah.
So when you remove the standard heat AC from the bus, is there no longer a windshield defroster?
There is still a defroster in ours. There's still a pipe that runs all the way to the front, and it does still work. I've actually used it. So there is a caveat though in that we removed. There's a pump that goes in that compartment that we don't have, and so the heat does not come in very quickly. So.
And a silver sides does not have the defroster, and the silver sides comes right off of the regular heat, which I still have the regular heat, but somebody removed all my defroster ductwork, so I don't have ducting that goes up to the defroster.
Okay.
So we have to pull over.
So we don't
Okay.
drive. We try not
Okay.
to drive in snow. Otherwise, I've got some flexible hoses like hook into the propane furnace and stick them up by the windshield, and that'll work too.
Yeah,
But
we could do a
I'd
diesel
never
heater
try to
on
drive in snow or ice.
Would you please post Juan's contact info so I could study the solar system for my bus? Yeah, we'll make sure you pin
It's
that.
the links have been in every video that I've been down here with, and they'll
when
be.
you're done with this, though, when it uploads or whatever, you can
Oh
post
yeah, I
it
think it'll let me
in.
do that. Yeah, we'll do that.
Someone's telling you to build a fire. We need one. out
Oh
there.
yes,
Oh, yeah,
please.
We have a couple fire pits now.
Another super chat. Talk about your cool headlights. We actually really already did in this.
Yeah.
So when we're done, you go back and watch that again, or he's got video links of all about them. He said on his channel.
Yep, we've
That
got
would-
a
that would be
couple
the
videos
best.
on them. Yeah.
They're really cool.
What road did Juan's bus drive down when it was a Trailways bus? You know, the route?
The route was in. We know it was out of DC. Well, that's all we really know. So yeah, I wish we knew more.
Are you coming to Alabama, and what city? I would love to come help. We have a few people on our list.
Yeah, we
from
have a couple
Alabama.
stops in Alabama,
We'll be announcing that soon.
yeah, and that's on our way to Florida that we're doing those. You
Yeah,
think?
but we need to contact them and make sure that they're still wanting. But once we get that figured out, we'll announce that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
That just threw me to the end again. But I'm pretty sure we're getting the end anyway close.
One race Lenny's bus. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he would win.
Oh, you had a super chat there.
Oh,
Let's see.
sorry.
Yep.
Ice Hunter again. What's your favorite non-bus project, excluding the tank?
Oh.
Yeah, the tank was pretty awesome. And actually, the tank, like I never check my email. I literally have 20,000 unread emails.
He does.
I was waiting for a specific email, so Kelly checked my email for something, and then she goes, "Hey, what's this?" And she reads it to me. "You want to go work on a tank?" It was just 150 miles away or whatever, and I'm like, yes. We had already called Tyler. I said, "Tyler, we're going to come up and visit you and Sage in that other bus," and then we called him right back and said, "Hey, sorry, I'm not going to make it. I got to go work on a tank."
So we turned around and went the other way.
So we turned around and went
Cool.
the other way. So yeah, the tank was really cool. But probably favorite non-tank, probably that Yanmar motor that I rebuilt because I thought that thing was a total lost cause. Like there was no way that thing was ever going to run, and then it ran, and it's still running to this day. That's probably my
Just so you know,
favorite.
I have 5% left on my computer, so you get a few more questions.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people run those diesel heaters for defrosts, which makes sense.
Yep, I'd like to. I love the one that I've got in the back. We've been running that here at night. It's wonderful. Other than he just told me about, you can get a special thing to actually make the thermostat part of it work, because otherwise it just runs. You can just run it at a slower rate, but
Right.
it still runs all the time.
Yep. There's an aftermarket controller.
What'd you say it was called?
I think it's called Afterburn. So it's a guy in Australia, and he makes custom controllers for those. And the cool thing, we have a whole series on home automation that we're putting into the bus, and they'll actually hook into the home automation system and come on automatically, and you can remote control them and all that kind of stuff. So if you like nerd stuff, there's definitely plenty of that.
Do you need to have the screws for the drums?
We got Luke was sending us some, but I'm not sure that we're putting them back in there.
Yep.
Got another super chat.
David,
Yes.
I'm looking at a 1957 4104. It looks like it's all together, but radiator is rough. They're asking 20K. I think that's a bit high. What should I look for doing a walk around on the bus? So, I mean, you're going to want to look for rust anywhere on there. The airbag staying up. Make sure the engine's cold when you get there. You want to see it start when it's cold. Put your hand on it. Make sure he hasn't been running it before you got there. That's what you want to see that. But 20K if it's a stick shift 4104, that's pretty high. It would have to be really nice, like ready to go, I think, to pay that kind of price for it. Normally 10 to 15 if it's nice, but it's hard to get up to that 20 range with a manual transmission in them.
Where is your bedroom? So I assume that's where you want.
Yeah, so our bedroom will be in the front. So we're gonna do 2 opposing couches that will turn into a bed for Michelle and I. So we'll sleep in the almost in the very front.
Any idea how many miles you've driven since you started the channel? So I assume that's for you, Scott.
Yeah.
A lot. I don't know, maybe 100. Oh, sure, over 100 probably, because I've been doing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 150 maybe.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you finish up with whatever you want to do, because I'm down to 2%. It's going to die any second.
Okay. All right. Well, we're really cold too, so
Yep.
if she didn't get to your questions, I apologize.
If you're going to do live on his channel later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want? Yeah. Maybe tomorrow night. You want to do a live on your channel tomorrow night?
We can try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll try that tomorrow. How about that? Maybe I'll do a quick live on mine just to say, hey, we're going to go over to his channel and do live. My hands so dirty.
Yeah, mine are too, but they're in my pocket.
So yeah, we'll finish up here tonight. I will have a video later of stuff, and then have you guys been shooting video at all? No? A little bit?
Yeah, we've been shooting a
Oh,
little. We'll do
okay.
kind of a recap, and then we'll probably link your channel
Okay.
in for that. So we've just been doing kind of summaries of what we got done that day, and what it's been like, and we'll probably do just one video at the end that'll link to these series of videos.
Okay.
So, yep.
Yeah, I didn't shoot a whole lot of video today, but we got several things crossed off the list and more things to go tomorrow. And like I said, my new batteries should be here. It'd be ideal if they came in like Thursday, and then I could have some time to, if we get everything ready for when your
For us
parts
to-
come.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, we could crimp them up and get some wires made.
I think I've got all my. Well, hopefully my wires are still. They're all the same terminals, I think. So yeah.
Cool.
Oh, okay. All right.
right.
Well, we're done. Thanks a lot. We will see you later, tomorrow, whatever.
Yep. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.